The train that disappeared is a mystery.
The train that vanished at midnight. Prologue. The people of Ibadan still whispered about the midnight train. It was said that many years ago, a locomotive bound for Lagos disappeared with all its passengers. No wreckage was found, no bodies, just an empty railway track stretching into the unknown. Some claimed it was a curse, others said it was the work of spirits. No one could explain it. But when investigative journalist Tunde Odwale received a strange letter inviting him to board a train at midnight, he knew he had to uncover the truth. The invitation. Tunde sat in his small office in Ibadan, surrounded by stacks of old newspapers and notebooks filled with mysteries. The letter had no return address, just a simple message. If you seek the truth about the train that vanished, come to the Ibadan railway station tonight at midnight. A ticket awaits you, but be warned, once you board, there is no turning back. Tunde's heartbeat quickened. He had always been drawn to the unknown, and this was a mystery begging to be solved. Armed with his camera, notepad, and a recorder, he left for the station under the moonlit sky. The train arrives. Ibadan railway station was nearly deserted. A single, flickering streetlight cast eerie shadows across the platform. The station master, an elderly man with tribal marks on his face, glanced at Tunde with a knowing look. "You should not be here, young man," he muttered, shaking his head. "That train is not for the living." Before Tunde could respond, a shrill whistle echoed in the distance. A gust of cold wind rushed past, and out of the darkness, a train emerged. It was an old steam locomotive, its black metal gleaming under the dim lights. But there was something strange about it. It looked exactly like the trains from decades ago, untouched by time. A uniformed conductor stepped out. His face was hidden in shadow, but he extended a ticket towards Tunde. "Are you boarding, sir?" His voice was hollow, as if coming from a great distance. Tunde hesitated but took the ticket. The moment his fingers touched the paper, the world around him seemed to blur. He stepped onto the train, and the doors hissed shut behind him. A journey through time. Inside, the train was unlike anything Tunde had ever seen. The passengers were dressed in styles from different eras. Some wore agbada and fila from the 1960s, others donned colonial-era tunics. The air smelled of old wood, dust, and something else, something unnatural. Tunde found an empty seat and sat down, gripping his camera tightly. He turned to the man beside him, a middle-aged trader wearing a worn cap. "Excuse me, sir," Tunde said cautiously. "Where is this train going?" The man looked at him with wide, fearful eyes. "We don't know. We've been traveling for years. No one ever arrives." Tunde's blood ran cold. He glanced at the other passengers. Some were staring blankly ahead, others whispered among themselves in hushed voices. The train rumbled forward, passing through towns that no longer existed. The windows showed glimpses of Nigeria's past, ancient markets, colonial officers marching, old kings in royal processions. The landscape shifted like a dream. Tunde quickly snapped photos, but when he checked his camera, the images were blank. Panic bubbled in his chest. The girl in the white dress. A soft voice pulled him from his thoughts. "You don't belong here." Tunde turned to see a young girl in a white lace dress sitting across from him. Her eyes held an ageless wisdom. "Who are you?" he asked. "My name is Mario," she said. "I was on this train the night it disappeared. I was only 10 years old." Tunde's heart pounded. What happened that night? Mario sighed. This train was cursed. A powerful sorcerer, Agbed, placed a spell on it after being wrongfully accused of a crime. He swore that anyone who boarded would be trapped between time and space forever. Tunde's throat went dry. "Is there a way to stop it?" She nodded. "But you must act before the train reaches midnight." The escape. Tunde checked his watch. It was 11:55 p.m. "What do I do?" he asked urgently. Mario pointed to the conductor. "He is the key. He is Agbed's servant, keeping us trapped. You must take his pocket watch. It controls the train's path." Tunde's pulse raced as he stood up. The conductor stood near the front, watching the train's path with unnatural stillness. Gathering his courage, Tunde lunged forward and snatched the golden pocket watch from the conductor's coat. The moment he touched it, the train shook violently. A deafening scream filled the air, and the conductor's form began to disintegrate into black smoke. The passengers gasped, their faces lighting up with hope. Tunde turned the watch's hands backward. The train groaned, the walls flickering like a dying candle. With one final jolt, everything went black. The return. Tunda woke up on the railway platform. The train was gone, his camera lay beside him, and to his shock, the images were clear, proof of the ghostly passengers and the vanishing train. He looked at his watch, 12:01 a.m. The station master stood nearby, smiling knowingly. You made it back. Tunda stood up, heart pounding. What happened to the passengers? The old man nodded towards the sky. They are free now, thanks to you. Tunda took a deep breath, knowing he had uncovered one of Nigeria's greatest mysteries. But deep down, he also knew, some mysteries never truly end. As he walked away, a distant whistle echoed in the night.